Okay. Welcome back to My Hero Academia Anime Review Episode 161. We're reviewing the final episode of Season 6, No Man's Island, which is basically also episode number 138, which this one goes through the rest of chapter 326 and goes through basically 328. Thus finishing up the Dark Hero arc, which, yep. Oh, by the way, the episode ended with to be continued in Season 7, which I already knew that already. And I'm very happy for Season 7. Not surprising, but given the fact how popular this anime is, of course we're going to Season 7. So, we start off the episode with a couple different things here. If you look at the animation page, basically it's a pitch that happens a few minutes into the episode, where you have the guys in class 1A taking Deku, who's all dirty, take him to the bath where they strip him and then they bathe him and throw him in. Nice cool bath. It's so hilarious. And we have a really cool moment here where Bakudo addresses Deku by his first name. Because here's the thing about this. He does know his name is Izuku, but he always calls him Deku because I think he's useless. And it's like, oh yeah, it's okay, you don't have to trust my real name. Yeah, here's the thing. First episode of the whole series, Bakudo's ever addressed Deku by his first name, Izuku. Everyone else pretty much does. The only person who does call him Deku aside from Bakudo is just Ochaku. Yep, which I have heard the writer has confirmed he's going to put those two in a relationship. Which, the only two relationships I can possibly see aside from those two is Shudo and Momo, which is somewhat obvious. And heck, even the voice actor for Kaminari believes this one. Kaminari and Earjack. And the other one is something I believe in. And I think people will buy this one too. Red Riot and Pinky. Yeah, this one makes total sense. Given the fact, one, they've known each other for a long time. And two, his whole thing is basically trying to impress her. So, yeah, this is perfectly fine. I have no problem with this at all. So, by the way, Momo, the whole episode, is not in her regular uniform. She's basically in casual clothes. The only person who's in uniform the whole episode is Shudo. He's the only who is, which is hilarious. So, after the bath, and of course, they all basically thank Deku. But before we continue here, we have to talk about All Might stuff. This is actually critically important because this actually plays a small role at the end of the episode. We have All Might at his statue where it says, I am not here. And then he's confronted by Stain the Hero Killer, who, by the way, you did see him briefly in the last episode, but this is the first time in person you've seen him since Season 2. Yes, in Season 2. That was the last time he was seen in the series. So in terms of the anime, it's been about 4 or 5 years since he was last seen. So they do explain in a flashback. They actually basically integrated into the whole thing with him. And by the way, he's armed with a katana and back in his normal attire. And of course, his dialogue is like, Stain the Hero Killer. I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to interact with each other when I was active. But a lot of stuff has happened since you were put in a coma. Yeah, put in a coma by Deku, Shudo, and Ingenium. Well, actually, they're the ones who indirectly caused it, but actuality it was him taking on a Nomu. Yep. So, because at the time they were just basically just trainees. They weren't exactly licensed yet. They can still kind of help people, but they can't exactly... Well, here's the thing about it. The way it's explained is that they have some authority to help people, but they can't arrest criminals. They can't exactly, do any fighting per se because they're students. It's a study program. Now, yeah, they can help people. They can rescue people. That's perfectly fine. But actually, taking criminals, they couldn't exactly do that. But they did. It was only to stop him. And, actually, Deku was trying to stop Ingenium at that point in time, so... because seeing the hero killer put Ingenium's brother in the hospital, a guy who Ingenium basically looked up to as a hero. He was his personal hero because of his big, well, not just because of Big Brother, because of how much of a nice guy he is. And he didn't like the fact he basically, well, put him in the hospital. And later on, after putting his brother in the hospital, he took up the name Ingenium, which actually was his brother's code name. Which, from what I could tell, his brother had no problem with it. But anyways, so Satan has to hide All Might from a woman who's got a quirk. So apparently this woman was, according to Stain Hero Killer, who was cleaning up the All Might statue, take down the sign, and clean it up. This, according to Stain Hero Killer, this is a bit of a stretch. This was the last person All Might saved before he retired. And apparently All Might does remember this. When did this happen? Back in Season 3. Yep. So, then of course, basically trusting a murderer who killed 40 heroes. Give us some info and hands over to the police. They do explain how the heck he broke out of Tartarus and not interacted with All for One. Well, here's what happened. He took down a guy who looked like he was a potential rapist, and then he goes to the guards room. Not to go outside with the All for One. Nope, goes to the guards room. Takes this box along with it has some data in it, and reveal basically the reason why Tartarus was easily broken into, despite having the best security system in the whole country. Radio waves! Yep, that was pretty much the reason for it. Like, okay, of course, I'll explain a little bit later. And then, of course, before this scene, we do have, after Deku's will clean up, because he thank all the heroes, the classmates will help him out, and of course, he needs probably All Might. And then, of course, Shooter points to the window, and there's All Might just standing outside. Yep. So after apologizing to him, and of course Deku said too, and of course, Pinky jumps in and says, "You should apologize for us for ghosting us." She does have a point about that. Yep. So they make up, and of course, basically, then after some chatting, Deku finally decides to sleep. Well, first Uraka sleeps. That because she's like so tired. Though they cut the scene out basically of her blushing when he got a chance to interact with her probably a little later. Yeah, I'm a little surprised about that because actually I think it happened. I don't think it happened in these chapters, but yeah, this happened during the very next story arc. Which by the way, the end of this episode sets up the very next story arc, which I'll get to that. So then of course Deku sleeps, and of course he wakes up after seeing All for One. And of course, he activates Black Whip, and he sort of does actually in front of Ochaku. But here's the thing about it: doesn't wrap her up. Apparently, she's not afraid of the damn thing, and apparently she is not. She's basically unfazed. I mean, he just having a nightmare. He's just having an obvious reaction using the Black Whip, and she knows that he's not trying to hurt her. It's just done by instinct. And it's an absolute great scene, the fact that these two are together like this. And of course, preparing for the next battle. The final battle is coming. Of course, they mention, oh yeah. Then we cut to the police station where they need to the whole data plan thing. And they also mention, the fact they thought it was going to be 2 months. 38 days. 3 days. Apparently, all four manipulated a timetable, and he really wants the one for all quirk. And it's just an absolute great scene. And then all of a sudden, we cut to the UN, where apparently All Might, Hawks, and Endeavor put a request to have heroes across the world to come to Japan that take down All for One because they need backup. So apparently, we have the Egyptian hero, we have a Russian hero, and then we got the US like, oh, ours left already. They're like, what? Because you couldn't wait. And then we see the debut of Star and Stripe. Yes, a woman who was clearly a female version of All Might. Just by sheer appearance, because she's a freaking bodybuilder. Her real name is Kathleen Bate. Kathleen Bate. Also, I read, she is based upon the title Stars and Stripe. She is the United States' #1 superhero, and she's also the equivalent to Captain America in the series. Yep, and she's riding on a stealth jet. Yep. And she's like, Oh, you think I would try to request my master to help out? No. So he flies off, basically does whatever. Now, I try to look up who's her voice actor, which, here's the strange thing. Unlike for Late in the Got, which they actually do mention who the voice actor is, I try looking up Stars and Stripe. They do credit her Japanese dub, her Japanese actress, Roma Park, who is a great voice actress, by the way. But as the voice in the dub, don't know. From the voice of it doesn't sound like Leslie Maxwell, because it doesn't give Leslie Maxwell. She's going to go back for one story arc. Because it seems as if she got from one beautiful superhero to... Now, here's the thing about Star Trek. She's a very beautiful woman. This would be really tall and really muscular. It becomes strange for her to do this after she just did a great character like Midnight, who was around for a long period of time before she got killed off. Here, you have this character. She's around for just one story, and that's it for her. And the whole purpose of her, the whole next arc, is basically a delay. Yeah. And if you're curious of how long Stars and Stripe is, which, by the way, will be the very next arc of the series that we have to for the end, because we're having season 7 here. This is roughly about 6 chapters. Yeah, this arc is really quick. Yep, really quick. Yeah, it's a really quick story arc. The arc that comes right afterwards is the UA Trader, which that is, like 8 chapters, which this probably definitely after for season 7 as well. Final War arc is actually still going on right now, which they have not confirmed this is going to be the final arc of the series. I have not heard anything about it. But overall, right now, anyways, the arc itself is only, basically, it's about 42 chapters in right now. It's one of our lengthier chapters, lengthy arcs of the series. Now, I have not heard the release date for season 7. I have not heard anything at all. But I can confirm this, that we can expect to see the Stars and Stripe and UA Trader arc adapted for the start of season 7. Yep, because the fact that we have where the next arc is only just 6 chapters, I'd say this wrapped up in just, well, given the fact this series adapts like 3 chapters an episode, it could be 2 or 3 episodes for this one. For UA Trader, this one's 8 episodes. I'd say this might take about, if they want to stretch it out as much as they can, because our current arc is still ongoing. I'd probably say that. I say in the case UA Trader, it could either be about 3 episodes or it could be 4 episodes. That depends upon the anime. The way current right now, it'd probably take the rest of the season. They probably won't be able to finish the season. Yeah. But, yeah. Now, that's pretty much why I think season 7 will probably cover. But as in the case of this season in particular, season 6, this is an absolute really good season. I don't think it has anything out of order, per se. Everything is, well, they did kind of have like a page too early, but it's fine. I think like every single scene was done really well this season. And it is something, though. The first half of the season, the only 2 characters that had the highest amount of dialogue to say in the entire episodes was Endeavor and Mount Lady. And you're thinking, really? Those 2 did? Yes, I've talked to MSR about this on Twitter, and of how much screen time that Mount Lady got this season, and she's happy for the screen time. In fact, this is actually the most she's actually had the entire series. And I also appreciate, though, I think it was just a couple of episodes back, they gave her some dialogue that went to her boyfriend in the series. Yeah, I think that's really good on that part. I'm glad the fact Endeavor got a lot of development this season. But if you look at the back half, like the last 2 episodes, despite the fact, yes, Endeavor and Mount Lady did get a lot of dialogue, but if you think about who else got a lot of dialogue this season, Ochaku didn't really say very much first half of the season. I would say out of all these episodes, she had like more. If she speak more than like 1 or 2 lines, I'd say this is what's on for about 3 episodes, the whole series. So I guess Lucy Christian was like, okay, I'll come here for a line here and there. Oh, I got some dialogue here. Good. I'd say probably Justin Brenner probably got a good amount of dialogue to work with in this season. Along with, of course, the active voices. Well, a lot of them do. Surprisingly, Froppy didn't get a lot of dialogue this season, which is interesting to say the least. Like, if you think about it, the episode with the most dialogue for her was like 1 episode of the entire of this whole season. 1 is when she ran the toga, and that was it. A lot of time we saw Froppy, it was like basically like 1 line for an entire episode for her. Because this is strange, though, because my favorite character of the whole series, Froppy, and the whole season, most of it except for 1 episode, she got maybe 1 line if she was lucky. Yep, but not much else to say about this season. It's really good. And, of course, the episode's really good, too. Now, no new chapter in the manga. As a matter of fact, the only series of new chapters in the manga this week was One Piece. And you're thinking, really? Yep, really. So, yeah. That's the episode of you. Next up is 2 Comic Corners, and then beyond 2, Trigon Stampede. Okay, next video. Bye.